No one ever said that buying a home was an easy process, and I would argue that in today's market, it's probably more difficult than ever. Truth be told, there are a lot of mistakes out there that home buyers make, whether it be first-time home buyers or home buyers that have done it before, that can cost them thousands of dollars and that do cost them thousands of dollars. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 worst mistakes that you can make when buying a home in Las Vegas in 2021. So if that interests you, then stick around because we're getting after it right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell. That way you will stay tuned to all the new videos that I put out here on this channel, Living in Las Vegas. I talk everything about living, breathing, sleeping, and relocating to the Las Vegas metro area. So if that interests you, like I said, guys, please like and subscribe. It really helps me in these YouTube algorithms. In today's video, we're gonna be going over the top 10 worst mistakes I see people make in the Las Vegas area, particularly this year, 2021. And with that, guys, let's get right into it. Make sure you stay tuned for this whole video because the last couple tips are gonna be real big worst mistakes that I see. But let's start with number 10, and that is paying over the list price, or sometimes it's called the asking price for your new home. Now, I see this all the time in today's market, guys, and it's because buyers are so desperate. They find a home that they like after finding probably, 5, 10, 15 other homes that they like, that they put in offers on, they didn't get, or maybe they didn't put in offers because the home sold before they could even put an offer in. And so that they think, man, I finally found a home and I don't want to lose another one. So, maybe the asking price is $400,000. So let's bid $425. Let's offer $450, whatever the price may be, guys. I see this all the time and it is a huge mistake. The number one reason why paying over list price is a bad idea, guys, is because you're literally paying more than the home is worth at that time. And that is a great way to lose money. If the home is appraised and the appraisal comes back at $400,000, right? But you're willing to pay $450, you're paying $50,000 over the market value of the home, right? So that would be like going into a store or going to a used car lot, and instead of negotiating the price down, right, on your new Corvette, you're telling them, no, I want this, I'll pay you more than it's worth, even though it's a depreciating asset. Now, real estate is not a depreciating asset in this example. Real estate can appreciate, but that leads me to my second point. When you pay more than what something's worth, if the market does not continue to rise, if the value of your home and the homes in your area, right, because the appraisal is not just about your home, it depends on the homes in your area. If all of those homes don't continue to rise in value, then there's a good chance that you are going to be losing money on that house from day one. And who wants to do that, right? A lot of people buy homes because they appreciate in value, because they save you money. You're saving money into the home, right? It's called equity. Every time you pay, you're getting a portion of that back in equity, and then when you go to sell the home, you make a profit. It's a savings fund, essentially. That's how real estate investing works. But if you're paying over the asking price, and I have heard of cases where people pay $50,000 over the asking price, if the market doesn't stay in that direction, the up direction, then there's a good chance that you are going to lose money on that investment. So guys, keep that in mind, because there aren't a lot of homes out there that I would recommend you immediately, begin to lose money on just to get in the home. Like, that's some really desperate move, guys, and I recommend that you do not do that. Even if it's the home of your dreams, more than likely something else is going to come along that you like just as much, if not more. And so don't go into debt from day one. That's just not a good idea. The second reason that's a bad idea, guys, is because that money could be making you money somewhere else. Now, I'm not an investing professional, financial professional by any means, but if you spend $50,000 over the price, right, you're paying an extra $50,000. That money is coming out of your pocket. The bank is not financing that on the mortgage, because the bank knows that the home is only worth $400,000. So they're not going to give you $450,000. So that $50,000, or whatever the amount of money may be, is coming right out of your pocket. You could take that $50,000 or 10 or 20, however much it is, you could invest that somewhere else, and you could make a return on that money. Now, guys, you need to talk to a financial professional about this. But if you just put that $50,000 in the home and then the home starts decreasing in value, you're immediately losing money. Yeah, you have the house of your dreams, but you're immediately losing money while you're still paying off that mortgage. If you get a home at list price or lower than list price and you invest the rest of the money that you had available, then there is a good chance that you're going to make money, whether that home goes up or down in value, because then you're going to be making money on all that extra pocket change that you didn't spend on the home. So make sure you talk to a financial professional, guys, before you do this. And of course, talk to your realtor, see what they have to say before you put in, before you offer more than the market value on a home. But I never tell my clients to do that, and I don't recommend you do that. The second thing I see buyers do all the time is they want to give up too many contingencies. So if you're familiar with a home buying contract, a purchase agreement, guys, there are a lot of contingencies in there, and they are not exclusively there for the buyer, but almost entirely there to protect the buyer, because you're the one that's putting the funds up. You're the one that's just giving up the money. So there's an appraisal contingency, which says, if I offer X amount, but the appraisal comes in for less than that value, then that gives you the option to back out of the deal. And there are other contingencies like due diligence and inspection contingencies. Contingencies can be added, they can be removed, all sorts of things can be done with contingencies. But the number one thing I see people doing is they find a home that they really like. They know that there's competition. And instead of keeping all of those contingencies like they normally would, they think, oh, I better give up this, I better give up that, and that'll make my offer more attractive. Truth is, yes, in most cases, the seller will find your offer more attractive if you give up contingencies than an offer that still has all those contingencies in place. However, those contingencies are there to protect you. Now, I'm not insinuating that there are sellers out there that are trying to take advantage of you, but sometimes things happen. Sometimes sellers don't know that there's something wrong with a home, or there's a lot of different things that can happen. The appraisal, like I said, can come in bad, or can come in much lower than expected, which does happen on occasion, because realtors and appraisers don't use the exact same process. It does happen. So be careful when you give up those contingencies. Make sure that you know what you're giving up. Make sure you know what contingencies you still have and all of the other alternatives in place. Make sure all of those are available to you and you know how to use them so you can get out of a deal. This is where having an experienced expert realtor or some kind of real estate agent really comes into play, because they can educate you on those contingencies. That's part of their schooling. That's part of our professional education. We have to know how to get you out of the deal, get you in the deal, get you out of the deal. We have to know how those contingencies work so we can help you as our clients make the best decision for you, because that's what we're here for. We're here to work for you and get you the best deal. That's our number one job. So make sure you speak to them, speak to your lender, all of these different people, get as much professional advice as you can before you give up contingencies like the appraisal contingency, home inspections, that sort of thing, guys. And one example here, instead of giving up your appraisal contingency, agree to cover some amount of a gap. Now, this kind of waves into the territory of the first thing I talked about, which is paying too much. But say you're buying a $400,000 home and you know there's a chance the appraisal could come in low, right? But you really want this home. Instead of waiving the contingency outright, write into the contract or write into your offer that, hey, I will cover up to $10,000 of appraisal gap. So what that gap is say the home appraises at $385, right? So you put up $400, you said you'll pay $400. That was the list price of the home. The home appraises for $385, so that's a $15,000 difference. If you would have given up your appraisal, then you'd have been paying $400, or your appraisal contingency, you'd be paying $400,000 for a $385,000 house, right? You'd be paying essentially over the new list price or the new market value of the home. But if you would have written in a $10,000 gap into your offer, then since $385 is $15,000 less than $400,000, right? You still have that $5,000 that's going to be able to get you out of the deal. You're going to be able to say, well, that's outside of my gap. I don't want to pay that, so I'm rescinding my offer. So keep that in mind. If you are giving up a contingency or you're considering it, sometimes there's a halfway point where you don't have to give up all your power, but you can still make your offer more attractive to the buyers. Make your offer more attractive to the sellers. Next mistake I see, guys, is ignoring what the seller wants. Real estate is a tricky business in that the sellers actually get to choose who they sell to, right? Normally that's not the case in most other businesses. So If you are ignoring what they want, say they want a lease back, or say they want something else, they want you to remove a contingency or just do something with the contract, right? It could be any number of things. You don't necessarily need to agree with them and just fold and say, yeah, sure, here you go. But you should be listening to them and kind of negotiating back and forth. And if it's something minor to you and you really care about the home, why don't you just let them have it, right? Because there's a lot of stiff competition. If you don't agree, there's a chance they'll try to find some other way out of the contract so that they don't have to sell to you. So make sure you're listening to the sellers. If they need a lease back, if they need something and they really can't sell to you otherwise, negotiate with them, see what can be done. Sometimes you can meet people halfway. You don't have to give them things for free. Sometimes they can give you some money or something else in return. Again, make sure you talk to your realtor and figure out what can be done, figure out what negotiation can happen, and then move forward from there and make the best decision for you. Guys, before we go any further, please, if you haven't already, go down, smash that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. It really helps me in the YouTube algorithms, and it helps you to stay tuned to all the new videos I put out so you don't miss a thing. With that, guys, let's go to the next tip. Next on the list, guys, is lowballing. Hey, I like a good deal just as much as everyone else, but in today's market in Vegas in 2021, lowballing is just not an option. If it was a buyer's market, sure, maybe that would be an option. But in a seller's market like this, it's just not an option. Your agent, the seller's agent, and the seller, they have a pretty good idea of what the home's worth, and I'm sure your realtor will tell you or has already told you, hey, the home is worth what they're asking, or it's worth more or worth less, whatever the case may be. If you come into a situation and you find a home and it's worth $400,000 and you're offering $385,000, first, there's too much competition out there. There are people that are just gonna offer list or more, so you're not gonna get the house. But in a different setting, in a different kind of market, even in a buyer's market, the seller, like I said, the seller knows what the home is worth and they can choose what offer they accept. So if you're lowballing them, you look like you're kind of greedy, right? You just look like you're trying to take advantage of them. And you also look like you're not serious, because if you were serious about it, then you would just give them what they're worth because you really want the home, right? And you don't want to look greedy. You don't want to look like a sleazeball. You don't want to make your agent look bad, because that's just going to tick them off. And if you tick them off, then they may not give you the best service, right? Because as a buyer's agent, you're not even paying them. The seller's paying them. So you want to keep everybody happy, and it's just best to give a fair deal and offer what the home is worth. There's nothing wrong with negotiation, guys. There's nothing wrong with coming in a little bit lower because you want to try to get a better deal. There's nothing wrong with asking for additional things, the kind of free t-shirt kind of deal, right? Hey, can we have this? Can we have that? There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a difference between negotiating and just blatantly lowballing people. Like I said, it doesn't make you look serious. It makes you look bad. It makes your agent look bad. So do yourself a favor, give a fair offer, and don't waste anybody's time. And number one, don't waste your own time, right? Because you're here to buy a home, and if you want to do that efficiently, then you're going to want to offer a fair price to all of the sellers who have nice homes that you like. All right, guys, the next thing on the list is submitting minor repair requests. So say you submit an offer, you keep your due diligence period, and you want to do a home inspection. Awesome. More than likely, the home inspection will find a bunch of little minor things if the home is in good condition. Most homes are in good condition in my area with the deals that I do. So that's what it usually happens, right? Oh, $100 here, $200 there, blah, blah, blah. That's great. I'm happy for you that your home inspection came back with only minor things. However, in this market, I don't recommend that you submit that or those repair requests for those minor items. Submitting those not necessarily will anger the seller, but it does make your offer look less attractive, because now you're asking the seller for additional funds to fix little things in their home, or this, that, and the other thing. So if you want the most attractive offer, guys, I would not submit repair requests unless it's something really major. And if it's really major, maybe you want to think about not buying the home, because there might be other people who see that major defect, a cash buyer or just someone with deeper pockets, and they're not going to care. But you want to get your offer accepted. You want your offer to stay accepted once the home inspection comes back. So really pick and choose your battles, guys. If it's just some minor stuff, if you can live without it, maybe you can fix it yourself, or another professional who does drywall or painting or whatever the fix may be, and they can fix it for you for pretty cheap. That's what I recommend you doing. It's all about making your offer look as attractive as possible, because in this seller's market, there are a ton of buyers out there and the sellers really get their pick of the litter. So I would be careful with what you submit, otherwise you might lose out. Next would be not shopping around for a lender. So the number one thing you should do before you start looking for homes, first off, is either, and I mean both the same, just one depends on whether you're getting a mortgage or whether you're going to be a cash buyer. You need to get a pre-approval. I'll say that again. You need to get a pre-approval from a lender, a letter of pre-approval saying, John Smith is pre-approved for up to X amount mortgage or whatever it may be. Or in the case if you're a cash buyer, you need to get a proof of funds from your banking institution, from whoever, that says, yes, John Smith can liquidate X amount of money up to whatever point in purchase of said house or whatever. You need to have that because you need to know what you can afford. But the way you get that is not by going to just one lender. Now, if you're a cash buyer, you don't have to worry about this because you don't have a lender. But if you do need a mortgage, you should be shopping around for lender. This has bit me in the butt when I bought my first home, and I don't recommend that you do that. The reason it bit me in the butt, guys, is because I had no idea what the fees were, no idea what they meant. I had zero negotiating power when it came to the fees. You know, you go to a lender, they give you a net sheet or basically a sheet that tells you, hey, at closing, when you finally sign all the paperwork, this is going to be a very close amount to what the fees are, right? There's all sorts of fees on there and this, that, and the other thing. If you don't shop around, you will have zero negotiating power on that fees. And let me tell you, everything in a real estate transaction is negotiable. So if you don't shop around and you don't get any other offers from any other lenders, you don't compare fees, you don't ask questions about what fees are, and your real estate agent can help with this to a point, but they're not the lender, right? So, and I'm sure they have lenders that they will recommend to you. Good, take those lenders, call them all, go find a couple more. Now, don't take like 6 months researching lenders, right? If you're serious, it doesn't take that long to research lenders, and also make sure you don't hurt your credit when you're looking at all these lenders, right? If they're all pulling hard credit scores, then that can affect your credit in a negative way. So make sure you do this in a smart way that is not going to negatively impact your credit, because that could of course impact your ability to get the mortgage, or you know what the mortgage is, the interest rate, all that sort of stuff. But you want to go to as many possible, and you want to get as many examples so that you can negotiate the lender down on a lot of fees. Just like you would go to a used car lot or multiple used car lots and say, hey, I want to buy this Corvette, right? I want to buy this Corvette. John over there at the other dealership says he'll sell it to me for 50. You're selling it to me for 55. Like, well, can you beat John, right? And then you're going to go to another guy and you're going to say, well, you know, this guy over here said 45. Well, and why can't you give me 42? That sort of thing. So you want to compare, you want to contrast, you want to get people down as low as possible. And at the same time, while you're doing this, you can find people that you actually like, right? You need to be in business with a lender who respects you, who gets on the phone when you call, who is timely, all that sort of stuff, right? That's the kind of lender you want. You don't, and the only kind of lender, the only way you find that is if you shop around. If the first lender you talk to is a lender you don't really get along with, but okay, you know, he's my lender, he's the first one I talk to, then you're kind of shit out of luck, right? You're never gonna find a better lender if you don't look. So keep that in mind, guys. Moving too slowly. In today's market in Las Vegas in 2021, this is one of the hottest real estate markets in the entire country for single family homes, for investors, for apartments and condos. It is super crazy out here, guys. The summers are hot and the real estate market is hot. Go figure. If you move too slowly, you will not get a home. And what I mean by that is when your realtor calls you and says, hey, John, I found you a home that you and your wife are gonna love. It's got enough room for the kids. It's got the backyard that you want. It's got the pool. It's got a balcony. It's got a mountain view, all the things you want, but you need to look at it today. Then you need to trust your realtor. If you found yourself a good realtor that you really like, you need to trust them, and you need to make an effort to get you or your wife or someone out there to look at that home beside your realtor that day. If you do not move as quickly as possible, you will lose out in today's market. Now, eventually, of course, you probably we'll find a home in a timely fashion that, you know, fits with a slower time scale is what I mean. But at that point, how many other homes did you miss out on? How long have you been looking? If you already own a home, yeah, maybe no big deal. But if you're renting, that could be a huge problem, right? Because now maybe you just extended your lease another 6 months. Or maybe you had to extend your lease another year. And now you're stuck in the middle of a lease by the time you find a home you like. So all of these things are really important, guys. It's really important that you move as quickly as possible and be serious about the process and have this conversation with your realtor before you start looking for homes, right? Make sure they know your work schedule. Make sure they know the best times for you to view homes and the worst times, right? Both of those things are important. Make sure they know how to get in touch with you, give them as many numbers as possible. Make sure you can get in touch with your lender at, you know, all possible times. All these sorts of things play into each other so that you can end up viewing a home and quickly putting an offer in, and so that you can get the home you want. And if you don't do it like that, then you will miss out on the home of your dreams, or you will miss out on a couple homes before you finally find one that fits with a slower time scale. And I don't want to see that to happen to anybody, guys, because that's happened to me on multiple occasions when I was trying to buy a home before I was a realtor, and it just sucks. You finally found a home you like, and then boom, the rug gets pulled out from under you, and it just sucks. I don't want to see that happen to you, so please move quickly. All right, guys, we got a couple more tips to go. Get a home warranty. Get a home warranty. Literally, as I'm shooting this video, I'm having a problem with my air conditioner. And guess what? I have a home warranty. Actually, I have 2 air conditioners, and I've had problems with both of them. Moved into this house in January. That's just part of being a homeowner, guys, and it's why you need to have a home warranty. Right now in Vegas, 2021, it is pretty common for you to ask the seller to pay for a home warranty. Right now in Las Vegas, 2021, it is really common for you to ask the seller to pay for a home warranty on your house, the one you're buying from them. Now, a home warranty runs about $500. And like I said, that's pretty common. If you want to make your offer more attractive, of course, you can give that up and you're not really losing anything in the deal. I highly, highly, highly recommend, and I recommend it to my clients, get that home warranty, even if you have to pay for it yourself. Because if you're moving into a home, we'll take air conditioning, for example, because I always seem to have AC problems. It's very common to move into, like, say a 15-year-old home in Las Vegas, right? The home I own right now is about 15 years old, 15, 16 years old. There's 2 air conditioners, one for the upstairs, one for the downstairs. Both are the original air conditioners from when the home was built. Now, ACs can last any amount of time, and I get this information from talking to a few air conditioning specialists that I know, HVAC specialists. They've seen air conditioners last 5 years, and they've seen them last 20. The average life, or the life that the AC was built for, right, is somewhere between there. Let's just call it 10 years. If it is 10 years, right, that's what the manufacturer says how long this thing should last. If it's 10 years and you're moving into a 15-year-old home and they have the original air conditioners, you've already exceeded the manufacturer's lifetime for that AC by 50%. So I don't know how much you guys know about air conditioning, but when my AC went out in a different house a couple years ago, it was July in Las Vegas and I needed it fixed like that. And it cost me $10,000. So I didn't have a home warranty because at that time it wasn't commonplace to get one. And I was just cheap, plain and simple, guys. Don't be cheap. Don't be like me. Get a home warranty. It's $500, at least for that first year, until you can work out all the bumps and bruises. You can see if there's anything wrong with the appliances that the seller didn't know about or that they didn't disclose. Hopefully there's no problems at all. Hopefully the seller is telling the 100% truth, but sometimes that's not the case and problems do happen. Air conditioners are expensive. Dishwashers can be expensive. All these things can be expensive, and if they go bad and then they ruin something else, that's even more expensive, guys. So make sure you get a home warranty and make sure it covers all of your appliances. That is just the best thing you can do, guys. Like I said, I'm having AC problems right now. Thank goodness I have the home warranty, because if I have to have these 2 systems replaced, it would be like $20,000 or $15,000. Nobody wants to have to pay that after moving into their brand new home. Who can afford that after moving into their brand new home? That's just a ridiculous expense, and nobody wants to. So please get a home warranty. And kind of piggybacking off that, guys, here's a bonus tip that I just thought about. When you're buying a house, most of the time, the title or lender or somehow they'll write a home warranty, home insurance policy into your purchase, right? A 1 year home warranty, or excuse me, 1 year home insurance policy. There's usually nothing wrong with those policies, but they do generally run higher than if you were to go shop for one yourself. So if you have Geico, Progressive, someone you can bundle your insurance with, go talk to them, go get a couple different quotes from the marketplace and see what they will charge you for a 1 year home insurance policy. And then once you have that, if it's less than the policy that was just written into the contract, then you can just have them swapped out. And that saved me $200 or $300 in the past, which is not a ton of money, but it's money that you don't need to be spending. You might as well have the insurance policy where you bundle and save a little bit. It'll be easier to get access to. It's less paperwork. It's just all around easier. So I do recommend that. Make sure you shop around for your own home insurance policy and get that home warranty. All right, guys, we're down to our last two. And before we go any farther, please, if you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe button, and hit that little notification bell. I'm also going to shoot my contact information up here somewhere along the screen and down below. Guys, if you're moving to the Las Vegas area, please give me a call, look me up. This is what I love doing. I love helping people relocate to Las Vegas. It is an amazing, beautiful city. My family is here. I'm raising my kids here. It's an amazing place to live. It's an absolute paradise. I'm getting calls all the time from people relocating to Las Vegas. And I'll tell you guys, I'm never too busy for your phone call. I'm never too busy to answer your questions. So please reach out, give me that call, send that pigeon carrier, however you want to get in touch with me. Text, call, email, it's all down in the description. It'll be on the screen. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you, and I cannot wait to help you relocate to Las Vegas. And with that, let's go into our last two tips, and these are the most important, guys, so open your ears. One of the most important tips that I can give you, one of the most important mistakes, or the worst mistakes I see people make, is not getting a real estate agent or a realtor. In today's market, if you work a normal job, even if you don't work a normal job, there is no way that you have the time, the time to find homes, to call the listing agents, to get all the information, to coordinate with the lenders, to coordinate showings, to coordinate all this stuff. And then once you put in an offer, right, you don't even know how to write an offer. So who's going to write that offer for you to send to the home? You'd have to look up all that yourself, make sure you write the offer, make sure the seller is sending you the right paperwork, make sure you understand all the legalese of the offer, of the contract, of the seller's real property disclosure. There's so many things in the paperwork, guys, that not necessarily difficult to understand. There's just a lot of stuff in general that goes into buying a home. If you have a family, if you work a normal 9-to-5 job, if you work any kind of job, if you want to have any kind of life while you're trying to buy a home, I recommend get an agent. And here's the best part about being a buyer and getting an agent. It's free. You don't even pay your agent. The seller pays your agent. There's no reason not to get a realtor or some kind of real estate agent to advocate for you. Get someone who, first off, you get along with, right? Who picks up the phone, who gets back to you. But make sure that real estate, being a realtor, is their full-time job. Because when you sign that BBA, buyer brokerage agreement, with that realtor, that's the agreement that says over X amount of time that I'm going to buy my home through you, and you're going to get the commission for it if everything closes according to plan. If you sign that agreement, you want to sign it with someone whose full-time job, whose full attention is on buying you or helping you buy a home. Don't sign it with a cut rate agent who has a full-time job and then does this on the side, or someone who can't devote the time necessary. You want to be signing with someone like me or another agent whose full-time job is real estate. And you want to be able to get along with this person. They need to pick up the phone. They need to do all the things that a real estate agent or realtor is going to do, because you're their client and that is what you deserve. So guys, I see people making the mistake. They think they have the time for it. And even if you do have the time for it, you don't know the legalese, you don't know the laws, you don't know how to fill out the paperwork. Sometimes you don't even know where to get the paperwork. And if you don't know the legalese and you can't get the paperwork, then there's really no way you're going to be able to submit stuff. It means you're going to have to ask the listing agent to do it for you. And then that can get into some complicated stuff about dual agency, and I'm not going to get into it now, but it just makes the whole process more complicated. And it's more work for the listing agent, and like the listing agent is there for the seller, to advocate for the seller. So you don't want to go to the listing agent and try to ask them to get things done, because their job is to help the seller and have the seller's best interest. Literally, by law, they have the seller's best interest in mind. So they're not going to have your best interest in mind if you start asking them for paperwork or to do things for you. And like I said, it gets complicated. There's more legal stuff that comes into play. There's more paperwork on top of the already mountain of paperwork that comes with buying a home. So do yourself a favor, get a real estate agent. It's free, they're a professional, and they take all of this work, they do all of it for you, and you don't even pay them. I mean, I can't think of a better deal. All right, guys, the number one worst mistake I'm seeing right now, Las Vegas 2021, is people go out and get a realtor and then they don't listen to them. Why? What's the point, right? First off, they're free, right? It's a free professional working for you to help you buy a home. But after you go through all the effort of interviewing agents, like, right, you're interviewing lenders. On top of that, you got to interview agents. Once you find an agent, you put all that time and effort into it, then you're not going to listen to them? That doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not saying that real estate agents or realtors are always right, because they're not. I'm human, just like you. All the other real estate agents are human, or mostly just like you, right? We all make mistakes, and that's totally fair, and that happens. And sometimes our advice isn't perfect. That's just what it is to be human. No big deal there, right? But if you don't listen to the professional advice of a realtor, then there's no point in even having one, right? You're just going to be screwing yourself over. You're going to be wasting your time listening to them. If you're planning on not listening to them, then you're going to be wasting your time. You're going to be wasting their time. And everybody's time could be better spent. You could be doing something else. The realtor could be giving that time to someone else who's a little more serious. So please, please, please. Or if you are serious and then you're not listening to your realtor, it's almost a double whammy, right? You're wasting time and you're ignoring good advice, which means you might be seriously trying to get a home, but completely, stabbing yourself in the back the whole time you're doing it. So that's really bad too. You don't want to do that. Get a realtor you trust, get a realtor you like, get a realtor who picks up the phone and responds, answers your questions, and listen to what they have to say. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to take everything they say as 100% correct and just do exactly what they tell you. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm advocating you actually open to them, open your ears, really give what they had to say some thought, and then from there, make the best decision for you and your family or whoever else is coming into this process with you. And then you sit down with the realtor and you make the best decision for you, and then they will go along with it because they have to have your best interest in mind. But if you ignore their professional advice, in a lot of cases, you're ignoring really good advice, which means you might not get a home, or you might overpay, or any number of things could happen. So don't waste your time, don't waste their time. Make sure you listen to what they have to say. And then after you get all the facts, all the information, you listen to everything they have to say, then you can make the best decision for you, and then hopefully come out on top with that brand new home. Because like I said, guys, they're out there for you to do the best job they can for you, and it's all for free. That's the best part of buyer's agents. The seller pays them. I cannot overstate that enough. It's free. There's no reason not to talk to a realtor. Like I said before, guys, I am talking to people every single day who are moving to Las Vegas. So if you're moving to Las Vegas, you're thinking about moving to Las Vegas, maybe you just want some information about the market, homes in such and such area, I can help you with that. Maybe you know someone who's moving to Las Vegas, or someone else who's thinking about moving to Las Vegas. Please, if any of those are true, my contact information is down below. It's on the screen right now. Please, please, please reach out to me. Send a call, text, email, pigeon carrier, however you want to do it. Send a written letter if you'd like to the address in my Google My Business profile. However you want to do it, guys, please reach out. I absolutely love real estate. I absolutely love what I do. I love helping people relocate to Las Vegas area, Las Vegas metro area, because it's just a beautiful area. You're living in a paradise every day. I'm raising my family here. So many great experiences here over the past years, and I just love it, guys. And I know if you're moving here, I can help you love it too, and I can give you the best damn service there is in real estate. So please look me up, reach out. I promise to have your back if you're moving to Las Vegas, and you should yeah, definitely give me a call, guys. And with that, thank you so much for watching the video. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below so that you are in tune for every new video that I put out. And guys, please stay tuned for that next video. Really looking forward to talking to you. Really looking forward to helping you. Thanks so much. Have a great day.